Hi, I am going to talk to you today about emotions as a writer. And I'm not talking about your character's emotions. I'm talking about your emotions as a writer. Here's the thing. This is the first Writing Wednesday from Publish and Tell, and I am so excited to talk with you about these things. I was chatting with some authors last night or yesterday, and this is the thing. Mental health is real, right? It's a real thing, and we need to be concerned about it. And as writers, we struggle too, right? And so let's just be honest about it and not try to pretend that this writing career that we have is just something that just flows out and everything's great. And, people see me. If you're not familiar with me, I'm Brenda Hare, and I have published 10 books and have 80 more that I'm working on. I actually coach authors and just created the Writers Retreat Box for writers to help them. So this is what the Writers Retreat Box is about. It is about coming alongside writers and protecting them from spiritual battle, right? As much as we can, encouraging them, reminding them of who they are and why they were called to write. So it's so important that we acknowledge our emotions and our mental health as writers, because sometimes we can beat ourselves up, and that's not good for writing. So if we're having an off day and we're just like, oh, I really need to be writing and I'm not, and I'm speaking from experience, okay? I am speaking from firsthand experience that I can get distracted sometimes. In fact, I'm distracted right now because I'm wondering if this is actually live on Facebook. So I'm going to go check real quick and just make sure. And if you're watching the replay or watching live, let me know where you're watching from and all that good stuff, because I want to get to know you as a writer. Let me know what you're writing. What is it that you're working on? What is it? It's your heart's desire to put out into the world. Because I want to help you through that. I want to help you get it out there. Imagine a world where all Christian women writers shared their testimony. How powerful that would be. And it almost brings me to tears to think about how that would change the world. Not only would it change your world as a writer, because as you write, you start uncovering things and you are changed, especially if you're a Christian writer and you're leaning into God and you're saying, okay, God, what is it you want me to share? How do you want me to share this? And you're leaning in, right? So that's part of it, and it transforms you. And then once you start unloading, right? Once you become a different person in the process. And imagine if the faith that people would have if everyone started being real and everyone started sharing their faith. It would just change completely our world, right? If we all shared our testimonies. Sharing our testimonies helps build each other's faith. It helps expand our faith. I talk about that in my first book, Save the Buttertubs, and again in Worthy, the Bible study that goes with that. My daughter expanded my faith so much. I mean, she became a missionary at an early age, and seeing her, raise money for those trips and how God came through at the last minute every time. And just, she was young when she started in missions. She was 16 on her first mission trip, and then went into full-time missions at 17 after she graduated. And it was expanding my faith because it was, seeing what God was doing through her. And that's what we as writers need to do. We need to share our stories and our testimonies so that we can expand other people's faith, right? And a lot of people will be like, well, I'll just read the Bible. Well, that's important too. You should absolutely read the Bible. But as Christian writers, we kind of have this responsibility, if God's called you to write, to help people understand. Jesus used parables. And so he's helping people understand in a different way. And so we need to be doing the same thing. Hey, Ariel, nice to see you. Thank you for being here live with me. Tell me where you're watching from, because you're new to my world. I've seen you on the giveaway and all those good things, but I'm not sure what part of the world you live in. So let me know where you're watching from today. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 tips that I have for you as an author and getting your emotions in check. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so getting your emotions in check. One is you have to be real about your emotions. You're not necessarily going to feel like writing every single day, and that's okay. But if you have a deadline, you need to figure out how to get those emotions in check. And so here's some different tips and tricks. One is first to acknowledge that. Secondly, write it out. West Virginia, yay! That's actually where my daughter's last missionary. I can't remember the name of the small town now, but her last mission assignment, I guess, was in West Virginia. She did a dance ministry there a few years back. So that's pretty where she was from, where she was there. She could see a mountain outside the window. Like, it was gorgeous. And it was a very walkable little town that she was in. Excuse me, but I don't remember the name of the town. But I hear it's pretty over there. We never got to visit her while she was there. Okay, so one thing I want you to do is, if you're having one of those days and you know you're supposed to be writing and you're like, I am not feeling this, I would much rather go and like binge something or avoid it altogether. This is what I want you to do. I want you to sit down and write about how you feel about not writing. I want you to just sit down and just, whether that's a dear God moment and you're just like, literally writing, dear God, I do not feel like writing today. And I know you've called me to do this, but today it's not that day. Help me overcome it. Thank you. This is actually the Bible study companion that my daughter and I co-authored, that daughter I'm talking about, Beth, that goes with my memoir, my first book. So this is actually a true Bible study with questions and all the good stuff in it. So thank you for noticing that. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. First of all, write about the feelings, write it out, whether that's typing it out or in a journal. Just start writing. I don't feel like writing today. I know I should be writing. Then start talking about the book that you're supposed to be writing. If God's called you to write a specific book, like, start writing about that book and how I think, I think I'm supposed to be writing this book, God, but I'm not really sure. Tell me, this is what you've given me so far, and I'm stuck here, and blah, blah, blah. Once you start doing that, you will be surprised at how your emotions will change, and you might actually open your computer and start typing in that book and start working on that. Just the act of doing that and acknowledging it is important. Okay, so that's one tip you can do. The second tip is motion changes emotion. Okay, motion changes emotion. So if you are feeling stuck as a writer, or you're feeling sluggish, or you're just like, I don't know, even during writing sessions, I do on the fourth Wednesday of every month, I do what I call a staycation, where I write for 4 hours straight. And I'm actually going to do that today. That's the extra Wednesday of the month, right? But I'm actually going to do that today as well. When I'm done with this live, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to write for 4 hours straight. That's a lot of writing. So what I do is, in between that, I like to break it up. Now, normally on our staycations, we have other people and we interact in between the sessions. We write for 2 hours and interact in between. But I'll be solo today. So what I'm going to do is exercise in between. And I know some people probably just cringe. They're like, exercise? Ugh, I don't want to exercise. You don't have to exercise, like all out exercise, but what you can do is find something. I have this little squat machine thing, and I'm working on getting better at it. Trying to readjust my 51-year-old body a little bit. And so in between my writing sessions, I plan on writing for an hour and then going and doing, a set of squats, and then coming back, writing for an hour and going and doing squats, because it gets your blood pumping. It changes your physiology in your body. It literally changes it, and really helps your mind shift. And so whether that's, you go for a walk, you walk around your house for a little bit. I mean, it's winter, right? Let's be honest, it's cold outside. You might not want to go out and go for a walk. If you can, great. If you can't, get up and move in some way, whether that's, even if you can't get up, if you can sit in the chair and just start moving your arms in a different way. People are probably watching thinking, oh my gosh, this woman's crazy. But if you start moving in a different way, it will change your emotions, and that will help you move forward in writing. And so don't get stuck in that seat, just, kind of in this daze, because it will affect the way you write too. It'll affect the way the words come across. So if you can change that emotion and get up and move around, you'll be that much better off as a writer. So Tip number one, recapping, write those emotions out. Be honest about how you're feeling about writing. Yes, I love it. Sit-ups and stretches and squats. I do that and walk around my apartment. I'm perfect, Ariel. I love it. I love it. I call them microwave moments or micro workouts. Those things you do while you're waiting for something in the microwave, or you're waiting for the shower to get warm, or those kind of things. And it really does help. But if you're in a writing session, to do those things is so important. So step number one, write it out. Tip number two is to move and get those emotions going. And then tip number three, okay, be honest in your writing. So this is about not holding back your emotions in your book. So, okay, let me see. My name is said with an R, then E, then L, not Ariel, like the mermaid. So R. I hate that I can't pronounce it. Then A, L. Ariel? Is that right? Ariel? Did I get it? Is it Ariel? Okay, maybe it's Ariel. I hope so. Let me know if I got it right. Ariel. Okay. So the third one is sharing your actually emotions. Say each letter R-E-L. Yes, Ariel. Okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying, because I definitely want to get it right. Okay, so the third one is sharing your emotions as you write. They say that if you're feeling emotional as you write and you let that come out in your writing, your reader will also feel that. And it's so important because it's connecting you to your reader. So if you're writing something and it's making you laugh, that's a good thing, because your emotions are coming out and you're laughing at yourself and you're telling a funny story. And hopefully your readers will then laugh too. If you're crying, if it makes you weep, go with it, write it. You will be amazed at how it will connect your heart with your readers. In my first book, I did both of those things. I made people laugh, I made people cry, and I heard the feedback. And it was so fun because I laughed and cried a lot during that book when I was writing that book. And so it was just fun to see other people experience that. So I want to encourage you to let those emotions out. If you're writing a book and it's making you angry, do that too. Let it flow, let it come out so that your reader can connect to the story that you're telling. So there's your 3 tips for today. The first one is to write out your emotions. If you're stuck and you're feeling stuck, write about that. Write about being stuck. I feel stuck today because, and just write it. Whether it's I have low energy, I'm not feeling well, I'm just in a slump, whatever, just write those things out. Number 2 is energy. Your emotions changes emotions. So get your energy flowing by moving around. And then number 3 is to share those emotions as you write. Don't be afraid and don't hold them back. That will really help you emotionally as a writer. So there we have it. So thank you so much for being here, Ariel. I appreciate you being here live with me. If someone's catching the replay, let me know where you're catching from, and tune in every Wednesday, 9:00 Central. I will be bringing you more Writing Wednesday tips, and I hope you will leave here and go write. So that's what I'm going to go do. So until next time, take care. Thanks again for being here.